If what you want is real, relevant hunting, you are in the right place. With moderator Josh Miller, owner of Triple Point Outdoors, co-hosts Kevin Cook, owner of the Outdoor Pro Shop, and Brian Keitlinger, athlete and creator of Left in the Field Outdoors. Welcome to the Reinvent the Hunt podcast.
Welcome back to the Reinvent the Hunt podcast. We are on episode 16 already. A really cool episode coming at you tonight. If you want to like, share, and subscribe, get a review always out there on the Reinvent the Hunt podcast. We've got the normal co-host here, Brian Keitlinger from Left in the Field Outdoors. Whoop, whoop. And Kevin Cook down there. Looks like you had a little wheel issue going on there today, Kevin. Or tire issue, I should say.
Yeah, somebody backed out of the driveway and smashed into my front end and messed up. I just got putting your brand new wheels and tires on it. I lifted it 2 weeks ago. Yeah, tires done, wheels messed up, fenders jammed in.
Right, when you get freaking nice things, someone has to screw them up, right? So
it'll be all right. Everybody's okay. It'll get fixed.
That's a good deal. Well, tonight we have Seth, the owner of Ugly Buck Minerals. Seth, glad to have you on here, man.
Absolutely glad to be here, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we're fired up to hear, the story of this company, kind of how you started it, where you want to go with it, and what all you have.
Oh yeah. So grew up hunting. I'm from rural North Carolina. Accent might give that away. Grew up hunting. We did, we weren't doing hunt clubs, a lot of that stuff. We hunted pastures, we hunted cropland around North Carolina, where I'm from. There were no trespassing signs. There were no fences. There really were no property lines. It all came together. But growing up, I saw corn, man. That's what everybody fed. And, of course, it's not so much as natural to the deer, but it's a big thing. It's kind of introduced. And it's the thing, Georgia, when we were down there, man, by Fort Gordon, it was peanuts. That's what everybody did down there. So it's kind of a location thing. But I hit, about, good Lord, man, 19, 20, somewhere around there, and just noticed that a lot of the bucks in the areas that we were hunting, some of the older guys that have been hunting for 50 plus years, the deer were struggling, man. I mean, they were struggling to be, I wouldn't say not impressive. It's all about the story, right? But in terms of size, it's just, there wasn't a whole lot going on. And my grandfather kept telling me, he's like, there's got to be something, man. There's got to be something out there. At the time, there was so many products on the Walmart shelf. I don't bash products. They all have their own thing. There's a lot of great products out there, man. I mean, there really, truly is. But for every one good one, there's 5 ones that, fall short. And then there's your occasional ones that, we call snake oil around here. You see things like the back of have like, guaranteed growth, in the next 12 months. Well, yeah, they get bigger every year. I mean, that's how that works. If they're living, they're growing. So, just seeing all that stuff, man, me and my wife, we were in Rockfish, North Carolina, bunch of swamp back behind us. There's deer everywhere. I mean, we come out with the kids. Actually, I say kid. My oldest daughter was probably 1, and we were rabbit hunting with her, doing her little 22, just having fun. You shine the spotlight out, man. You see eyeballs. There's deer everywhere. But the bucks, they weren't real impressive, and they were a little skittish in the area. A lot of development around that time. But it was a Walmart thing. My wife, she didn't really grow up hunting. She grew up with her family racing. They race open wheel, modified, late models, all that stuff. So the hunting wasn't really big to her. So she'd go to Walmart, she'd bring something home, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. We'll try it. We pour it out. Some were good luck, some were bad luck. Then we started doing location stuff. And I told her, I'm like, after, a year or two of that, the deer were no larger than, 50 miles away at our other piece of property. They were the same size. We're putting out all this product. I'm like, I don't understand. What is the deal? So that just opened up my mind, man. It just opened up the biology, I ain't gonna say major, the biology interest in me. And I'm like, we got to figure this out. Why these products have so many great things that the internet is saying is good, Carolina Sportsman is saying good, Whitetail Inc., all these magazines, publications are like, this is what you need. Like, but why aren't they getting bigger? We started drilling down, found out it's not necessarily what's in it, it's the concentration for one. How much is in it? There's a great product all of us know. It's awesome. I'm not going to throw the names out, but it is a great product. They don't do snake oil. They have no crazy marketing campaign. They've been around forever, man. But they openly tell you our salt content, 90%. That's a lot of salt. Granted, they need salt, but they don't need that much salt, especially, in the packaging that it comes in. There's only but so much volume, man, to fit the stuff in there. So we're like, we got to figure this out. We started dissecting things, started talking to the local co-ops in my area, we found some deer breeders. Of course, social media was kicking off. We found deer breeders. You just asking questions. What are y'all feeding? Well, we're feeding a protein, but we're also feeding our own custom blend of minerals. We're taking this, we're taking that. So probably 3-4 years of that, we're like, I think we have something. Let's give it a shot. Send it down University of Georgia, the Warrenville Deer Lab. They did their thing. They're like, we can't endorse it, of course, because, A, we're not sponsored by them. B, they don't do that to promote companies. It's kind of like a blind test, I guess you would say, like the soda commercials we see, you like cup 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of the same thing. We got great feedback. Of course, it was less than 12 months. That's how it was. Unless you're sponsoring a college, they're not going to take your product and feed it for 3 to 5 years and put umpteen dozens of hours in it. But, we got great feedback. Like, we think you have something here. Put it out, see what happens. Me being the way I am, I come from the automotive world. That's my background, man. Automotive technology, high performance, engine building, drag racing, all, questionable legal racing, but it's all good. That's my background. That's what we did around here, man. We're right outside of Fort Bragg. All these young soldiers, the tuners, the hot rods, that's what we do. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get this in some people's hands. So our first thing, no kidding, we sent it out to the Flying W Guest Ranch in Surrey, Oklahoma. Them guys out there. They didn't know me. I didn't know them. There was no Facebook page. There was no Ugly Buck website. There wasn't an Ugly Buck name yet. It was a mineral with diatomaceous earth, and we found out, shipping was a monster with that, especially open the bag and just kind of right in the face. It's like, we'll cut back on that a little bit. But it's a great natural dewormer. Agriculture-wise, it's really good for that. We sent it out there. Them guys use it for 4 or 5 months. They're like, we need some more. We need 20 bags. Like, okay, I got a 55-gallon container from Walmart, a $20 Walmart drill, and a paint mixer doing this in the building behind the house.
There you go.
Like a 10 by 10. I'm like, we got to step up. Man, our first thing, well, my wife's like, we got to have a name first. Got to be something. We got to have something. We need something Buck. It's got to have Buck in. You got to speak. She's really good at marketing to not know anything about hunting, right? I'm like, all right. Her and my brother, he was sitting here doodling, on a little napkin, man, in our single wide trailer. We were young. Sitting here doodling. They're coming up with stuff. He's drawing pictures. And I don't remember if it was him or her. She gives him credit. Before he passed, he gave her credit. So one of them came up with a name, and I just was like, wait, what? Knowing us back then. Wait, say again?
Oh, that was just Brian. He was.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, so it just got. I was probably making ramen at the stove. We were young, man. I got that time 2 little kids running around. I'm probably making ramen.
That's what Brian was just doing. He's just whipping up ramen next door.
Hey, there you go. See, it speaks to you.
Stirring up.
And they said it, and I'm like, what was that? And they both kind of looked at each other. They're like, Ugly Buck. I said, I like that. I said, matter of fact, my grandfather had this terrible 1970s taxidermy buck above his fireplace. That's cool. Where the keys to the vehicle, the tractors, all the keys to the stuff hung up there. You imagine being 8 years old, man, and you're going through the dark, and he's like, go get the key to the truck. And you're like, oh my God. Like, you're freaking out because this deer's just so god awful ugly. It's freaky, man. And he had, taxidermy stuff everywhere. And none of it was really that good. It was just was terrifying.
You're like, where's the key?
I'm like, okay, so exactly. Which one is it? Please tell me. I don't want to fill around this thing, man. But it was an ugly buck. Yeah, exactly. It's an ugly buck. And she said that. I'm like, that's what we used to call that deer. We didn't call it the ugly buck. It was just the buck, the ugly buck, the fireplace, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, I like that. It stuck. We started coming up with a logo. My brother actually doodled, man, on a napkin. He's sitting here looking at stock images of deer and all that. And the early rendering of the logo was just looking back. I'm like, historically, it's awesome, but it was terrible.
Yeah, it's cool.
But he's drawing and doodling, man. Well, he did like the antlers. He wanted the antlers to be broke on one side, go for that ugly look, right? The ear had a little chew with a coyote. He's just going wild with his imagination. He's drawing, and a couple months, man, it all came together. My dad, he was signal communication in the military, right? My stepfather. websites, computers is his thing. He's like, you got to build a site, man. I'm like, cool. You want to build an engine? I got you. How do you build a site? I don't know anything about building a website. He's like, man, we just worked. And I'm talking like Vistaprint website. That was like $10 a month.
Yeah.
It was just, the site was awesome, man, for what we thought. We didn't know. But, back on the side, going back to the product, it was a lot of getting in people's hands. That was the biggest thing. We knew we had something. We saw, we got so much land around here that, 2,000 acres, you got different herds, especially separated by swamp, cut in half by highway. We're like, we got to drill down. We can't rely on just results that we see. Are we going to be biased? Possibly, more than likely. We're going to go, man, this stuff's great. We're making it, right? We're going to go, oh, man, look at this. Last year, that deer was nowhere near that size. So we're like, we can't do that because I don't know marketing, but I know products. Again, automotive world, there's a difference in quality, and you can usually tell lower quality stuff has a whole lot higher claims. That's just how it tends to be. I'm like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to go to the Dixie Deer Classic and all these expos, with a product no one really knew at the time knows anything about. And I'm sitting here and, the next 20 booths down from me, there's 4 or 5 huge companies, man. And I'm sitting here like, oh, yeah, this is the best product. Why? Yep. Because it makes deer bigger. No, didn't work, man. It didn't work. We got it. We were traveling, man. We went to outfitters. We went to, North Carolina has several deer breeding operations, which is actually pretty cool. A lot of people don't know that. We got in a couple of their hands. Some of them guys are like, no, man, like this is my livelihood. I can't feed them anything but I get it. Race fuel's the same way, right? Growing up racing, I didn't bring you gas for your race car. You put your gas in your race car. It was the same thing. You're feeding the tank, right? But just so much feedback and stuff. And as we went on, we had one flavor. And that was unflavored for years, for like 3 years. There was nothing. It was just the mineral. Then guys are like, well, I want an attractant. Okay. I don't do salt licks. All my feedback, man, the blocks and stuff, talking to guys, University of Georgia, I'm not bashing on it. It's great stuff. I have always been taught and been told that the blocks and the rocks, they transmit diseases a lot quicker because the saliva sticks around. Our mineral is granulated, right? So it's like pixie stick. It sticks to tongue and it goes with them. Would I ever bash a product? No, because, we all know the big names. I don't know if I can say it on here. We all know the big names. Trophy Rock, all them guys. They're not bad products. They literally do what they claim. And I'm not one to sit here and tell you I have the best stuff in the world. It doesn't work that way. It does not. They do what they claim. So why bash them, right? But the guys, I wanted to attract them. So back in the day, it was good Lord, man. It was Kill Plot. That was a live seed rendition that we tried. And too much liability, man. If the guys aren't doing the soil prep right, if they don't know how to plant something, if they don't have a green thumb, it's just, man, the stuff's not growing. It grew fine for me and the other guys. So we're like, we're out. But we had one, it was Max Rack's always been Max Rack, right? We had Duo Mix. It was an attractant and a mineral in one. So it was the Max Rack base. Then the guys, you go on the website, right? And you could choose what you wanted. Did you want it mixed with sunflower seeds and corn and protein pellets? Whatever you wanted, man. It was like, the golden corral of minerals. It got to be a lot as we grew because you'd get like 20 different combinations. And I'm like, man, my wife's like, she's doing this. I'm at work, right? In the day job. She's like, this is a lot. We throttled back on that. We put more time into Max Rack. We started going with all natural flavors. Our biggest thing, we are 100% American made start to finish, man. Our packaging, it is all made in America. It's American sourced. Our minerals, they are all American sourced. Our flavors, they are all natural. Ingredients come in a bag with a stamp on it, and that is it. There's no import. There's none of that stuff. It comes as raw ingredients. Everything we do is right here, made in America. And, requirement, no. You hear that. It's more like more novelty now, right? To say, oh, we're American made. Or, we're American assembled or assembled in America. Well, everything we have, start to end, it is all American sourced right here. That's our biggest pledge, right? We want to keep the money back. We want to keep it working here. It's what we want to do. But the challenge with that, what we were having was quantity of the bags, right? And if I'm going too deep, feel free to stop, but it was wild, man. We started off with, we had a heat sealer from Walmart. No kidding. And Ziploc vacuum seal bags with a Sharpie on it. You know, people, they didn't care, man, because they were throwing, we heard, oh, I don't care about, I'm throwing the package away anyways. I mean, I hear you. So then North Carolina, they stepped in. They're like, hey, we got a knock on the door one day. They're like, you guys ugly buck? Like, yeah. They're like, oh, you know, you can't sell minerals or livestock feed or wildlife feed without being registered, right? With the NC Department of Agriculture. I said, I did not know that. They're like, all right, well, let me see your packaging. I was like, hang on one second. Go out to the building. I'm like, here we go. I carry, keep unflavored still, right? Come up to the lady, hand her 2 bags. You know, they're both Max Rack in case you want to look at it. She's like, "Oh, you're scale certified." I said, "Well, I put a 5-pound weight on it, and it said 5 pounds." I said, "So I think so." She's like, "Okay, we're gonna work on that." She's like, "You have no markings of origin. You have no identifying label. You have no manufactured by," which she's like, "your origin to be the same. You have no guaranteed analysis." She's like, "You have no instructions for use." She's like, "You really have nothing but a product in a bag." So you are absolutely correct. That is exactly what I have. I have a product in a bag.
Sell like hotcakes, baby.
Exactly, man, it was wild. I mean, it was wild. These guys were coming in 55-gallon pickle jars from Wendell Farms out in Carthage, North Carolina. They were coming with pickle barrels, and they're like, "I don't want a bag." So we're sitting here with basically freaking snow shovels and scoops, just filling up barrels for them. They don't even care. Makes no difference to them. That's how bad they wanted it. So I asked her what I need to do. She's like, "You have to stop selling for 12 months. I said, "Do what?" She's like, 12 months. You have to submit your products. Every product you make, you have to submit to us. We have to test it, and you have to wait 12 months, up to 12 months before you can sell again. I said, okay. I said, well, that's kind of a problem because I have orders right now. She's like, I didn't hear that. I'm like, okay. She's like, fulfill your orders, shut down your website, get your stuff together, make your packaging. I said, all right. Well, let me break it to everybody. You know, I thought it was going to be one of those we'd kind of fade out, right? I'm like, all right, well, this is where we kind of keep working on it behind the scenes. We'll fade out. We had people showing up, knocking on the door, people blowing up our email, Facebook, YouTube. We had guys that were using our product, and people are commenting. And my buddy Darren, right, he runs, you know, he's out of it now as a disabled veteran, but he was running a YouTube channel. He's like, dude, he's like, I got to get more of it. Like, these guys are commenting on my stuff. They don't care my video is of us bow hunting. They're asking, where's that stuff y'all used to promote? You got to have it. So we shut down for 8. I didn't get 12. I shut down for 8 months. We came back. We found this packaging company out of California. The bags were just, for us, they're like $3 a bag, man. I'm like, God, that's outrageous without going on prices, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, but you have to order 1,000 of them. I said, all right, cool. Thanks for the time. Have a good day. There's no way. We don't even have really an established website, right? Yeah. But we're going to spend that much money. I said, nah, I can't do that. We got buckets. Local feed store in Rayford, man, he shows up. He's like, will this bucket work? Will it fit what you want in it? Saw a little black bucket. I'm moving this thing around. I'm like, all right, let's go find out. Did it. 20 pounds. I'm like, it works. He's like, I can get those for $2 a bucket with the lid. All right. There goes the buckets, right? That's part of the journey. There goes the buckets. Now we're doing stickers. Now we got, you know, scientists from North Carolina, from the state, calling us going, hey, man, your guaranteed analysis, you're off 2 or 3 parts per million here, and you're off here, and here's what you can do. So it went from, this is a huge roadblock from the state, to their scientists going, check it out, man. We talked to some biologists with the co-ops. If you want this analysis, this is what we recommend you do. Add this, take this away, change this, don't use that at all. You know, that's an inactive ingredient. Don't claim that, claim this. You know, you can't. I'm just like, hold on. So, I mean, it was another 4 or 5 months, man. And we did it all. And the guy's like, and I recommend you having a flavor, because right now your product is not identifiable enough. All right. What do we have in North Carolina? Got acorn trees, right? Everywhere. My wife's like, why not just do acorn? You know, you can literally grind it up and, you know, put it in there. We did that. The vanilla came in. Guys wanted something a little bit sweet smelling. It, everything that evolved, man, other than just the base ingredients, is all customer feedback. I mean, it is, man. It's user feedback. Like our 7 flavors, we did not sit at, you know, the round table, you know, the magical dungeon and coming up with stuff. It was, hey, man, you got acorn. We need something sweet, add vanilla. Or, hey, we like molasses, do molasses. One guy's like, can you do dried soybean? I don't know, but I'll find out. And at one time we had 12 flavors. We had pumpkin pie. We had all kinds of stuff. That it didn't sell good, man. I mean, it didn't. It smelled like pumpkin pie, but it to me, our deer on our property, they turned their nose up at it. I thought it smelled great. They didn't care. We're like, all right, X that one out. We had a grape, and so we got muscadine around here, right? Wild grapes everywhere. This was a very bitter grape, and this one guy, Lomerton, North Carolina, 20 miles from me, he swore by it. He's like, man, I'm telling you, he's like, in our vineyard, this is all they eat. We did it. I think he's the only guy that bought it, and he bought it one time.
It's funny. I'm like, I'll tell you what, that's a great thing to talk about when it comes to business and marketing to hit on there, because I run into that with broadhead industry. I know guys, and they're great guys, they're great companies, and like you said, you never bash on their company, you support everybody because you want support as well. But they'll have literally 12, 14 different models of broadheads, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you take the slowest helo cut and hunt any game on the planet, and you got one broadhead and you do it all, and it's like, then you got to keep all that stock up in inventory as a business owner. So
it's a lot.
Really understand all that,
It's a lot. It's the same thing. You say the broadhead, same thing with flavors, right? But the difference with the flavors is because we're NC Department of Agriculture registered, every flavor, we have to make 100 pounds of a finished flavor. We say, you're like, hey, man, give me spearmint. Just throwing something out. I have to take 100 pounds of spearmint, send it off to the state, and wait months upon months for them to test it and come back and say, nope, it's not going to kill any wild animals. You're good. So, of course, when Acorn of Vanilla, that was huge. That was our flagship. But it's not like we did that in stock. We were just collecting feedback, man. I think candy apple came next, then molasses. But every time we got a new flavor and we tested at the property, we're like, we got to send it in. Here's a sheet. Let's do it, man. We send it up. They say, nope, guaranteed analysis has not been affected by this. You're still good. All this other stuff. So the biggest thing for us, though, is all natural. We are all natural. You hear pledges for sustainability, pledges for all natural, organic. Well, it don't get much more organic than minerals. I mean, it's, that's about as organic as it gets. So with our stuff, right, I didn't think of words like, like pledges and, sustainability. I'm just trying to do what we think is right. I'm like, all natural. I don't want sugar. Again, where we're at in the swamps, man, you go pour out a product, no names, mentioned, you pour out certain products. If they don't touch it that night or 2 days, it soaks the water up, and then it molds, mildews, and now you have hog bait. And that can be catastrophic. So we're like, we can't do that. We got to go all natural, even with the protein source. If you want to add a protein in there, we tell you, full disclosure, right? If they don't eat this stuff soon enough, or if you put it right next to water, the mineral will be absolutely fine. Doesn't mold, doesn't mildew, doesn't rot, right? If you put it by the water and the protein gets wet, they're not touching it, you could have bad results. It's very possible. What we thought were people saying, oh, man, don't tell people that, you'll turn them off. No, that built loyalty, because they're like, okay, well, I'll use this up top. Like for us, our protein is up top on the gas line. Down in the swamp, mineral only, no protein, because it's wet. I'm like, no, you don't want to lie to people, right? My word, especially starting a company, me and my wife with no financial backing, we have our overhead is literally just operational cost. We have no crazy loans. We don't worry about IRS knocking on the door, and that's a good feeling. Not because we don't want to grow. You got to have capital, right? But we don't want to do it the wrong way. We don't want to tell you, hey, man, our product is number one. You'll never have an issue because of our product. Your deer will be twice as big next year. We don't do that, man. If you read our packaging, our website, we hit scientific stuff that we can back up. Am I a scientist? No, right? I'm the dude in the corner mixing stuff. But we got biologists working with this stuff, QDMA. We've even done the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Some of those guys tested stuff. I think it was more of a shadow test than a full-on, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation backing it. The guys doing it, they're like, oh, yeah, we're RMEF. They did it. We got a couple pictures, had the logo in the bottom, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I didn't get a good vibe from that, but the foundation itself is freaking awesome. Them guys, man, any questions we have, because our product's for elk too, right, and pronghorn. I'm at pronghorn in North Carolina. So what are we looking out to? We're looking way out west, man. That Siri, Oklahoma is huge helping us with that stuff. But again, you have to get feedback. You have to. And us, it's the same thing. Everything that's evolved. The logo, the name, the shirts we put up in our staff group. Option 1 through 4. What do y'all like best? There's no, oh, well, I'm the owner, so we're doing it this way. No. If you tell me that this pink shirt with, bright green writing is the hottest thing right now, I will take y'all's word for it on your vote, and we will try it. It's going to work or it's not, right? If it doesn't work, we donate it. We do stuff like Veterans Creed, Lone Star Heroes. Those dudes are two awesome organizations. We donate product to them left and right, man. We send them hats, stickers, whatever we can get, we put in their hands. The only thing we ask, give us the little infamous tax write-off sheet, right? So Uncle Sam's happy. But they don't pay for nothing, man. I mean, before this call, episode tonight, right? An hour, we're on the phone, VCO, Veterans Creed. Hey, man, we need product up here. West Virginia, we got a hunt coming up. Property's never been worked. We need something. What do y'all need? Let's make it happen. I mean, it's, okay, sure. It's a novelty, right? It's great marketing. But the biggest thing is when you help people, they will grow you in a way that a simple dollar bill cannot do. Period. Yeah. You cannot, man. You cannot beat word of mouth. I know, we see like great marketing videos. I see videos in the outdoor industry. I'm like, man, whoever did that is freaking phenomenal. That video is awesome. And you might see 18,000 views, right? But then you scroll down when there's a video of the same guy hunting with his daughter, hunting with his little girl. She gets her first deer. Nothing to write home about, right? Small little spike, whatever. And it's like, good God, 200,000-300,000 people view that, and people are just eating it up because it's real. Yeah, it's absolutely real. That's the biggest thing, man. And you're getting buy-in. A lot of people with kids, what do? Take a kid hunting, right? That's one of the biggest things, man. Get the feedback, be a real person, be a real company, and you will grow organically to where if you make a mistake or if you're not growing as fast as you think, just wait. Those people that are behind you, that are backing you in rooms you're not even in, man, they're doing it. Absolutely. They're doing it for you. You don't even know it.
I know Kevin down there in the Outdoor Pro Shop. I'm sure you want to jump in here, Kevin, because I know Kevin, talk about, your experience even today. You talked about, your wife as a partner outside helping you out, like when you need to do something else, like that's what's got to be.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I love your story. First off, love the story. I think we can all attest to how we work full-time jobs and building companies on the side, like all this, just growing from nothing and no financial backing, like you said, just the grit and the passion of doing it. Yeah. And it's just crazy. And you are 100% right. When you are a good person and you are loyal to your customers, they will back you, spread your name around. Like they will help you grow beyond anything. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it here locally, like just guys that are spreading my name around just because I helped them out. I was responded to every question they had, gave them a good price. I don't lie to anybody. And that just goes beyond. It goes for,
Yeah, that organic growth, man. Sure. I'll tell you this, and it was awesome, right? So as we're growing, our Facebook page went from like 7,000 to 9,000 people in 4 months. For me, is that massive? Yeah, that's huge. Is it 40, 50, 60,000, 100,000? No, one day maybe, but we don't do like pay per clicks, pay per click and all that. All our stuff organic. We did, giveaways, in the very beginning when we had like 800 followers, to get it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I remember, man, we're sitting here and we're doing a live video. I have all my staff members and stuff. And we're kind of just talking, just really just bull crapping around, man. You just hanging out. I don't know what we were talking about. Something way off the wall. And out of nowhere, my daughter comes in. She's like, Dad. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you just hit 10,000. We're all like, what? And we know it's like a car, man. You watch it roll over to 100,000 miles, right? We're like, we're looking at it. It's like, 10,001. We're just freaking ecstatic. We're just having so much fun with it, man. It's the passion. When you have a passion for something, it's hard for somebody to knock your legs out from underneath you. It really is. Absolutely. It's hard, man. Yeah. You can't take that away.
Well, I think you said it the best when you talked about the passion for just doing what you're doing. Because I know, like, my wife might take a little more attention to the analytics than I do, quite honestly, what we do.
Yeah.
Kevin, man, I'm like you. I'm like Kevin and yourself, Seth. Like if you're having a hell of a good time and you're doing it with people around you that grow together and you're doing it the right way and you're doing it real and relevant, people see that and people understand why you're doing what you're doing, and they also understand how hard it is. And they see you got a family, you got a spouse, you got kids you care about, and they're number one. But even like this podcast tonight that Seth's coming on to take the time to talk with us, and Kevin with his shop and all the things that all Americans do across this country every day. Like, that's what makes us. It's not, I respect these mega companies, I do, but that's not what really makes America. What makes America is our small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. At one time, man, when they were doing the same thing we're doing, minus the internet,
right?
Doing the same thing we were doing. You look back at Walmart, that was a family-owned company, started from nothing. Look at Bass Pro.
Yes, sir.
Same thing, Field and Stream, all these great names we all know. They started from nothing. They start one dude, man.
Just like I'm doing right now. Out of the house. It's like that's how Palmetto State.
A lot of them. A lot of them. Talking about Palmetto State Armory.
Yep.
PSA. Oh yeah. Yep. So you see that, man, and then now you go on a road trip. You're not even really worried about groceries or nothing. Depending on some places we go, yeah, but you're like, oh man, there's a Walmart on the way. There's Dollar General on the way. I don't know anything about Dollar General, but I can tell you when Walmart started out, it was small at one time and it grew so large. It can't help it. Growth, progress is going to happen, period. But you have to make sure when you're growing and you're progressing, you hold true to honesty and never let any dollar amount or anybody bashing make you lose your integrity or stoop to their level. We have people, man, on a daily basis, man. They see our products and they comment, oh man, I can make, 100 pounds of mineral for $25 from Tractor Supply. Okay. But keep in mind, that's not drilled down. That's not species specific. It's not. That's not the way that works. Do I get on there and argue with every single one of them? No. Right. I'm like, whatever, man. I make my point. I tell them, even if you don't buy from me, you need to get something that's specific for the animal that you're targeting, period. And then, you get all these, the social media biologists and all, they get on there and all that. I'm like, look, man, I've seen the heartache. I've had a professional look me in my eyes and tell me, hey, man, you got a great idea, but your guaranteed analysis, it's like for goats, man. This isn't what you need. I'm like, okay, well, I don't own any goats. What do I need? And then, you get a little bit of info here. And then he's like, but I know another buddy, man, that knows more about this. So, and then you just email them. You're blind emailing people, blind calling people. Hey, man, my name is somebody you've never heard of, making a company you care nothing about, and I need some information that I can't afford to pay you for. You got a minute?
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure. Absolutely.
Why not?
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Why not? That's like the guys, man. One of the guys from a broadhead company in North Carolina, one of their guys that's not even around, who met me one time, laid on the ground, man, with my kids and was naming grasshoppers and stuff. This is a 50-year-old man. And if I called him right now and said, hey, man, I'm looking for some, recommendations on a new hat design. He's like, man, I doodled something up the other night. Hang on a minute. Never in the years, man, never asked for anything. I tried to send him a T-shirt and he PayPal'd me when he got it. I'm like, really, dude? Yeah. He's like, that's how much to sell for, right? I'm like, whatever, man. I hear you.
Absolutely. I think another thing you guys talked about and hit on is I think, to me, it's this idea of skin in the game. And when you have people that want to grow with you and they're not, you get that. It's almost like an inside connection. You're not asking for stuff. They're not asking for stuff, but you can grow together and, get content of someone's product. And half the time, I'm not even showcasing my broadhead. I'm showcasing somebody else's product because I know that heck, they're going to use my broadhead to hunt. So let's showcase somebody else. I think that's important to understand.
Right. Yeah, dude. Networking is it's so underrated. I feel like networking, man, obviously with the right individuals.
Absolutely.
It can take you
knowledge.
You can imagine.
Knowledge, man, the biggest thing that people forget, knowledge is useless unless you share it. You can go from integrity, right? For me, I've had mineral companies start off that said, hey, I know we're a competitor, but I have some questions. Where do you get your buckets? Now, hold on, time out. We're in the same industry. There's no way on God's green earth can my company serve every hunter, wildlife breeder, and outdoor enthusiast in this country, let alone on this earth. Sure. Never going to happen. It's not going to happen that way. If that was the case, there'd be one mineral company and that would be it. So I'm like, dude, it's not a competitor thing. There may be a time when I come to you and say, hey, man, I have a question for you. We've been there. I've talked, I'll throw a name out if you don't mind. Talk to some guys at Lucky Buck. Sure. I asked questions to them. I met them in person. Them guys, man, they walked to the booth, gave my daughter a bag of beef jerky, sat and talked with us. We walked and got a funnel cake together. They did not look at me like, oh, you're a competitor.
Right.
No, they looked at me like, you're a person, you're growing. They have a stronghold on the market because they don't have snake oil products. I mean, they don't. It doesn't have crazy stuff on the back. Guaranteed 202 inches and 6 months of feeding. It's not on there. And you have to respect that.
Absolutely.
You have to respect it, period, man.
I'll tell you what, Seth, we appreciate having you on tonight. You have
absolutely, man,
enlightened us about your awesome product, and not even just an awesome product, but the story behind it. Like Kevin said, man, your story is what's going to sell the product. And I think
I appreciate that, man.
And reaching people with your story, we'll be able to get this out for you. But what's your website so people know?
Say again, one more time.
What's the website so people know where to go?
Uglybuck.com.
Uglybuck.com. Okay,
yep.
Well, like, share, give us a review. You're that podcast. We've got Ugly Buck Minerals on here. Seth, great having you on, man, and look forward to having you back.
I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Take care.